Hey guys, Melissa here, and in this video I want to show you how I made this 3-bead woven wire pendant. I used copper wire and 3 smoky quartz beads. So if you want to see how I did it, just stay tuned and I'll show you how. Alright, to make this pendant, I'm going to use 20 gauge bare copper wire. The tools you need are the basics. I'll have my list down in the description. I grabbed 3 beads. These are 6mm smoky quartz, but of course you can use whatever you want. You can definitely go up in size in beads. It's just the design will just have to be altered a little bit. You just have to work with what you're using. So with this pendant I'm going to make today, I'm going to use 4 lengths, about 15 inches each. That should be fine. And I always make sure that my bead wire accommodates my beads, and the 20 gauge does accommodate the beads. So I'm going to cut off, looks like about 4 inches should be good. Gonna feed on my beads, and I'm going to bend my wires to the back, but I'm going to leave some room between so I can get wires in between the beads. Bend that back. You can do one side, bend it 90 degrees, leave a few millimeters on the other side and bend that back. And that'll give you plenty of room in between your beads here to do some wrapping. Okay, so I'm also gonna bend it back a couple millimeters to accommodate the bead and bend them back up. So that's gonna attach to our frame basically. These are our frame wires. I'm gonna clamp them so I have more control. Basically find your center, a little farther down from center. So your beads will be around this area. So up in here I want to weave a little bail. So I grab some 20 gauge. I'm just working off the spool here. I'm going to attach to the bottom wire here to anchor it. And for the bail, I want to make a nice even weave. So it's going to be like a 2, 2, and 2. Bottom 2, middle 2, top 2. Bottom 2, middle 2, top 2. Bottom 2 twice around. Middle 2 twice around. Top 2 twice around. Come all the way back down to the bottom, straight down the back, and do the same thing. Bottom 2 twice around. Middle 2 twice around. Top 2 twice around. Compress your weave as you're going. Once you get a few rotations going, you can cut your tail off, press that guy flush, and keep going. And the amount you weave all depends on the size of the bail you want. My pendant isn't going to be too big. I don't want a huge bail. I'll probably weave about 1 inch here. So I'll do that and I'll be back. All right, that's my weave. Nice and compressed. I anchored it on the upper wire here. It's anchored down there. And then I anchored it up here with a few wraps. I left my wire on because I'm not sure if I'll use it. Go ahead and take my clamp off. And I think I'm gonna attach my beads. So to do that, I'm gonna put another angle in this wire. I'm gonna point it to the side, about a couple millimeters. I'm gonna use the point of my pliers and wrap it around like that. So that way it'll be in the center of my wires and I can start wrapping them. I'm going to use my flat nose here, kind of snug them tight around the base wires and gently push it around. To secure. That should be good, so I'm going to snip them. Press them down towards the back and snug them up towards my bail wires. Gently pressing. Take my flat nose and flatten out my base wires. And do the same down here. Again, I'm going to put an angle in my wire. Make sure your base wires stay nice and flat and next to each other. They keep wanting to bunch up on me, so make sure that doesn't happen. Just kind of press them down. Press your wire down snug. Bring it around the other side. Press that guy down snug. And go around 1 or 2 more times. I kind of push it with my finger. That should be good. I'm going to end it behind and press it down. There. Do some adjusting. All right, let's go ahead and shape the bail. Make sure your weave is nice and snug and tight. I'm going to use my bail making pliers, but you can use a dowel or a pen or whatever you would like. I'm going to bend these out a bit, snug up my weave, bend those out. And do some adjusting if things get out of whack. Alright, let's get the sculpting. So down here, I want to put a little swirl on the end here. So I kind of brace it with my finger. Put a little swirl. Make sure not to pull your pendant on a whack here. I want my twirl very tight. I'm going to cut off my weaving wire. I can always start it again later. I'm not sure what I want to do with it yet, but right now it's getting in the way. Trying to decide whether I put a little weave on that or not. I think I'm going to leave those plain, and I want to wrap them around the top here. Decide where I want to put the bend. Bring them around the front. Make sure they stay parallel with each other and smoosh them down. All right, so kind of bend your wires evenly spaced. Let's cut these to a more manageable length. Make sure they have a nice curve to them. Tying these guys down, wrapping them around bead. And slowly tighten those loops up. All right, do the same with the next two. Gently bring it around. Keeping a hold on this side so it doesn't cinch up farther than I want it. Keep checking it, make sure nothing's getting pulled. Coming back around, so let's get this guy going across the front here. But we don't want to see the end towards the front, so we want to tuck that in. All right. Once again, keep a finger on your design up here so you can control how much it moves so it doesn't move. There we go. This guy's a little too short to do anything with, so I'm gonna bring it to the back and cut it short. If it was a little longer, I can probably figure something out with it, but not this time. Press that down. My bail seems a little wonky right now. Try to straighten that up. Oh, bail comes in the back here. I'm gonna split these two. I'm gonna kind of crisscross them across the front. And I think I'm going to do some weaving. Anchor that, 3 wraps. Maybe do 3 and 3. 3 wraps around all of them. Or both of them, I should say. 3 wraps around the bottom one. All right, so let me get this done. I want to weave enough to bring this down to the bottom, so let me go ahead and do that, and I'll be back. All right, so I got my weave done all the way down to there. I shaped it to follow these wires here. Now I want to attach it down here, so I'm going to put a bend in it. Kind of feed them through. And I think I'm gonna end those there. Cut those short and kind of tuck them in to become a little shorter. And now smoosh them and tuck them in. And these wires, I believe I want to do the same thing. I'm gonna need to weave them. I'm going to do the same weave, but kind of opposite, I would say. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 around both. 1, 2, 3 around the top. 1, 2, 3 around both. Let me trim that guy off. I'm going to keep weaving and I'll be back. Okay, so I finished my weaving on this side. I brought it down to there. And now I think I want to incorporate it into the swirl. So I'm going to separate my wires. I think I'm going to put a coil on this outer wire here. Trying to determine how much coil I need. I think I still need more. Let's see. Keep going. Maybe I'll stop it there. Okay, trying to put the bare wire on the inside, twirl them together. All right, so we can tie these off on the base wires back here. Snip that short, give that a squeeze. Alright, so that's what I came up with this one. I left these wires plain, but you can leave them. I mean, you can do whatever you want. I just do whatever the wire tells me to do. I do it. So let me go oxidize this and spiff it up, and I'll be back. Here's the pendant, all oxidized, washed and polished. So that's it for me, guys. I hope you liked this video. Give me a thumbs up if you did. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next video.